I know how you create a ball with those flat Earth elevation angles. It's not by zooming out.
Right. Basically, those angles you do need a flat surface. So I agree with you on that one. But I just showed you can make a globe can be
Be
flat.
sure to like, follow, share, subscribe on whatever platform you are watching this on. Hello, dude.
Hello.
How's it going?
Going good. You?
Not bad. You're in a gamer chair with a gamer set of headphones. You gamer?
Yeah, kind of known again.
How old are you?
18.
Ah, you're old enough to go on YouTube then.
Yeah.
Excellent. What's your name?
Finn.
Finn?
Yeah.
Finn?
Yeah.
Ah, cool name. Don't think I've ever encountered anybody called Finn before. What a lovely name. Excellent.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you know that outer space, where they claim to go to the moon and Mars and stuff, is completely fake? Did you know that?
Is it?
Yeah. If the sky was a vacuum, then all the gas that you're breathing would fill that space instantly. We'd all be dead.
No.
Yeah, it's the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy. Gas fills space.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the gas has been held in by the gravity of the Earth.
Gravity is a downward bias, isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
It's a
gravity
center
is
bias.
down, 9.8 meters per second squared, down.
Yeah, but it's not considered down. It's only down relative to where you are.
Well, on a globe, it'd be in, but either way, gas doesn't go down. It goes out in all directions. That's what gas does. If the sky was a vacuum, gas would fill it, we'd all be dead.
Yeah, but gas has mass, which is pulled by the gravity of the Earth.
So we get puddles of gas, do we?
Yeah, you do. If you have heavier gas and you see it, it comes down and makes puddles. That's why you can have sea underwater. It's just gas, it's heavier water that's underneath the water,
Water's
which
not
is
gas.
puddling. Yeah, but it works in the same premise. And gas does the same thing. If you have denser gas, you'll see it. Like vape smoke, for example. You know when you blow it out slightly on your desk and it just puddles there on your desk and it stays there until you move it. It stays there because the gravity of the Earth is pulling it down because it's dense in the Earth. There's the air that's around it because it's got
So
particles
we're
in it.
all swimming in vape gas.
Well, no, but yeah, technically,
So what happens to the vape gas eventually then?
if you move it, it disperses around.
It fills the space, right?
No, not constantly, but it does come back down after a while.
Does it?
So basically, if you think about it, right, when you're vaping and you hotbox a room, right, and you see the sunlight come through, you don't see the smoke of the vape unless the sunlight comes through and reflects it off, and you'll see it. It comes at a line in the air. You won't be able to see it because it's so faint, but it comes into a line because it's heavy in the air that's around it.
Okay.
It puddles down.
But what you're describing is a violation of entropy law. Gas doesn't do that. Gas fills space. It moves at a high velocity in all directions until it collides with something. You don't get puddles of farts. They fill the room.
They don't fill the room.
So you think farts go down?
Farts do not go down because the gas that farts are made out of, which is ammonium, is actually lighter than air, so it goes up.
No, air is gas. All gases behave the same. They all fill space.
They don't, because depending on their mass.
Okay.
Air, it only has a certain mass. Mass means weight. They have different weights because they're different elements.
Okay. Can you define what mass is?
Weight.
No, that's
so
weight.
Basically density of mass. The mass is density of atoms. So basically, how many atoms are in a single point? There's more mass.
Okay. Where are gases created?
Where the gas is created? I don't know.
Ground level.
Ground level?
Yeah.
How?
That's where they're created. Like the gas that you're breathing, oxygen, is created on the ground, isn't it? There's no oxygen factories in the sky.
No, because oxygen
created at the ground.
It's not created at the ground. So you know when you look at gas in space and they've got photos of gas in space, it's just floating around in big clouds. It does form in space. It does exist.
There are no vacuums in the sky. Because if there was, high
What do you mean
pressure
vacuum?
goes to low pressure always. It's a law of nature. Hot goes to cold, high pressure goes to low pressure. That's what gas does.
Not always. It depends on the
The
circumstances.
law of
For
nature,
example, like
always. When I say law of nature, laws describe that which occurs always. High pressure will always go to low pressure. If the sky was a vacuum, a very, very, very low pressure, then the high pressure gas you're breathing would all sod off into the vacuum. That just means that there is no outer
it,
space. It's all fake.
it would if the gravity of the Earth wasn't pulling it down by mass.
Okay, what's
By
gravity? What's gravity?
Gravity is a downward force because of the gravity. Right, gravity is because of mass. Because like if you have something heavy, it creates gravity. It creates like a dip in space.
No, that hasn't been the case for 109 years. So Newtonian mass attracting mass is what you're describing, which is out of date by 109 years. So gravity is currently Einsteinian bent pseudo-Riemannian fourth dimensional space-time bending in a geodesic. That's gravity currently. 109 years ago, Newtonian gravity was mass attracting mass, but it doesn't. Gas doesn't do that. That's why it's superseded by Einsteinian gravity 109 years ago. Mass doesn't attract mass. Farts don't go to the center of Earth. They spread out throughout your whole house, letting everyone
Go
out.
to other parts.
That's what gas does.
It doesn't go to the center of the Earth because it's not heavy. You know, it's not as heavy as anything else around. It's less heavy, so it just floats around and it stays in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it fills
doesn't go up
space.
into space.
Yeah, it does. It fills space. That's what gas does. It's a law of nature. But it just means that outer space, where they say they're floating around a vacuum, is fake. It's a violation of natural law.
It's not.
Because?
Just not. Because you're saying everything goes on to a vacuum. Yeah, it does depend on the circumstances. If the gravity wasn't holding
The
it
law
down,
of nature.
it would just go.
Yeah, it's a law of nature.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, so we'd all be dead.
Because of the gravity of the Earth.
So we'd all be dead. The gas
mass.
would fill the space.
What?
Yeah, so if the sky was a vacuum, the high pressure
The sky's
gas...
not a vacuum.
No, but they claim it is.
The sky's not a vacuum.
No, I know. It's fake. The idea that they float around in a vacuum.
The sky is just where Earth, all the gases on Earth is just puddled to the top of the planet because it's less dense than rock. Rock is at the bottom of the Earth because it's denser than gas. So gas is at the top and rock is at the bottom. So if you put honey in water, for example, the honey would go down to the bottom and the water would stay at the top.
That's liquid.
Yeah. It just does the same thing. Gas does the same thing. It has the same properties because
it doesn't.
Liquid is denser than air.
No,
it's
air's not liquid.
Gas. Liquid is denser than gas. That's why it moves and flows and you can see it. And that's what it's more of it in a singular space. That's why it's heavier than air.
What law describes that?
It's not a... What do you mean? What law describes that?
So when I describe gas filling space, I cite the second law of thermodynamics, which is a description of something that occurs always. That is, high pressure gas always goes to low pressure. You're saying it doesn't, it forms puddles because of gravity that's 109 year out of date mass attracting mass from Newton. Newtonian gravity.
You're trying to disprove something that does exist. Like, you see it every day. You see the sky that is there.
You see the sky vacuum.
It comes down to the top of the Earth, and it gets... You see all these things.
Okay. If we see it, then answer me this: if you're seeing this happen and you're a spaceman in a spacesuit, yeah, let's just hypothetically go with your example. We're seeing it, right? So you're that spaceman, and you've got a spacesuit, right? Why have you got a spacesuit on?
To keep all the air.
To keep the air inside the spacesuit.
Yeah.
So you're looking back on Earth. Has Earth got a spacesuit?
No. Because
Earth hasn't got a spacesuit, but the guy needs a spacesuit.
Right. Okay. Earth doesn't have a spacesuit because Earth is so large that the gravity that Earth has is attracting and pulling down the gas around it.
No,
That's why if you don't you don't have enough mass or enough gravity
that's
to
109
pull
years out of
in.
date. I keep telling you, Newtonian
It's
gravity
not.
is.
If it was out of date, this wouldn't happen. Stuff like this wouldn't. Like the entire. If this was out of date, this just wouldn't happen. This is just physics. This is just how things work. It's
I
not
mean,
like a law that people
you're going to
wrote down.
appeal
It's
to
just
ignorance,
how
but
things happen,
okay,
right?
just hear me out.
Like
Hear me out. I'll try and tell you once more. What you were taught in school about Newton is
I wasn't
100.
taught in school about Newton.
Yeah,
I
you were.
wasn't taught that. No, I wasn't, because I didn't learn this in school. All right. This is
Okay.
just basic things I see in my day-to-day life.
Okay.
Right.
If you'll just I'll beg your indulgence once more. Your idea of mass attracting mass is bunk. It was replaced.
I
by-
didn't say mass attracted mass.
You think gas is attracted to Earth?
It's not attracted to Earth.
No, it'd fill the space in line with
It's
entropic law.
attracted to gravity.
Gas fills space. If the sky was a space, gas would fill it. We'd all be dead. That means that space is fake.
It's not though. But how is it fake?
They just made it up.
Why?
Don't know.
It's just stupid to think that it's fake. It's not.
It violates
it's
natural
real.
law.
It's like saying trees are fake. They're
it's
not.
not.
Exactly, because you see trees, you see space.
And you've seen
everywhere.
Earth from space, have you?
No, because I'm on Earth.
You've
So I'm not
got a
going to see
belief.
Earth from space, but I've seen the moon from space. I've
Okay.
seen the moon in the sky.
What's the moon?
The moon is a piece of rock floating in space, orbiting the Earth. I've seen it.
Oh, I see. So you think that the moon is a rock in a sky vacuum, but the gas we're breathing isn't filling the same space?
Sky. It's not in the sky, it's in space, and it's far away from the Earth.
There is no space. It's fake.
How is it fake?
Because gas would fill it.
I have seen space with my own eyes.
Oh, when did you go to space?
I can see it. I can literally look up the sky and see space.
You can see the sky and you believe it's a vacuum. It isn't.
The sky's not a vacuum.
No.
Space is the vacuum.
Yeah, that's what you think the sky is.
The sky's not a vacuum.
Yeah, but it's claimed to be a 10 to the minus 17 Torr vacuum.
It's not a vacuum.
We know. I know. It's fake. It's not a vacuum, but NASA claim it's 10 to the minus 17 Torr vacuum.
Bro, I don't know how can you be so stupid? Like, this thing's real. Like, you can see it. You can see the sky. You can see it, and you can see space. You can see the moon. And even if I don't have to see Earth from space to know that it's in space, because I can literally look up the sky and see space all around me. Right?
No,
and even
that's
if
a violation of natural law.
Even if I did see space, even if I did see Earth from space, you would still say it's fake, some hologram or something.
But you don't, do you?
Because I'm on Earth. If I left Earth, I would.
But the sky is not a vacuum, but it's claimed to be by the religious zealots.
It's not claimed to be a vacuum.
Claimed to be a vacuum. It's not.
It's not a vacuum.
I know.
A vacuum is a definition of less space, less air, less stuff. Right? Vacuum is less stuff. It's this area with less stuff. It's a type of vacuum because it's less than rock. It's got less air, less stuff than rock does, because rock is dense. So it's a less of a more of a vacuum than rock. It's a type of vacuum, but it's not a complete vacuum like space.
No, the space that you think is a vacuum is fake. If it was a vacuum, the gas would fill it.
Tell me how it's a fake.
Pardon?
How do you have evidence that it's fake?
Oh, it's called the second law of thermodynamics. It's a law of nature that describes how gas fills space. It's called entropic law. It doesn't seem to mean that you don't like listening to it.
Bro, you've told me more than once, and I know what you're going to say because you just told me 3 times, right? And what you're saying is wrong.
Why?
Because you do not see it. Can you? Right? Do you see space when you at night? Right? When it's completely dark, what do you see up in the sky?
Stars.
Yeah, that's space. That is a void.
That's your belief. Your belief in it being space.
Belief? How is it a belief? That's what I see.
Never been there.
That is exactly what I'm seeing.
No, it's not. You're just seeing the sky and stars. So if you're under the impression that gravity holds gas here, can I ask you this then? Have you never seen a cloud?
Yes, I've seen a cloud.
And is that going down, go boom, boom towards the ground with gravity?
Yes, it does.
Is it?
It doesn't go completely down because it's less dense.
Oh, so which way is it?
It's less dense.
Which way? So is it down or not?
Because it's gas.
Which way is the cloud?
It's up because it's less
Oh,
dense
so
than
gravity,
rock.
so gravity's just not applying to clouds, right?
It does, because it's not in space. The cloud is on Earth. It's
So,
above the Earth because
so
it's
we're
being
asked. So
pulled
back to
down.
the Spaceman example. I'm looking back at clouds on the edge of the ball that you believe in, not going into a 10 to the minus 17 Torr vacuum because of gravity, but they're not down with gravity, they're up. So
Because they're less dense.
yeah, so they're up in the sky going up. But your explanation for why they don't fill a vacuum is because they're going down. They're not. They're going up.
They go up and then they stop because they can't go any further because they've been held down by the gravity of the Earth.
They're not being held down. Clouds aren't down, are they? They're up, not down.
Yeah, from where it depends. Right, it's relative. Up and down is relative depending on where you are.
No, it's reference to a horizontal plane.
I
Up.
could say clouds are down.
You're saying it's relative, and I'm just correcting you. You're wrong.
If I was in space, if I was in the ISS, right, and I looked down, right, clouds would be down.
Fake.
They would be going towards
You're
the
not.
Earth.
It's fake. There is no ISS in a sky vacuum.
Yes. How? How is it fake?
Because they're looking back at clouds next to a vacuum that's a black area. The gas would fill the space. It's a law of nature.
It wouldn't, because it doesn't.
The law of nature, it's called entropic law, second law of thermodynamics. You're saying just isn't real because your religious belief in a sky vacuum based on images from a place you've never been shows clouds, the ones that went up, not down, not moving into a black area. I mean, you were taught this in school as a religion in science class that it told you was true.
You are based on a religion of the law of this random thing that you're talking about.
Laws are just descriptions.
You're basing everything that you believe on this one thing.
No beliefs.
And nothing on what you see in real life.
Your beliefs
I don't need to believe that the clouds don't go into space, right? Because I can look at clouds and they don't. They stay there because they're less dense. They stay there and they stay on Earth.
They're being held down with gravity, are they? Down with gravity when they're up.
Yes, because if they weren't being held down by gravity, right, they would be in space. They would be gone. They wouldn't be here, right? That is just a fact. They would not be here if they weren't being held down by gravity. Because what else are they being held down by?
They're not down. They're up. You're saying they'll be held down with gravity when they're floating up in the sky. Gravity was debunked 109 years ago by Einstein's bent fourth dimensional space-time, but you keep appealing to mass attracting mass to explain why space isn't fake. It is.
How was gravity debunked? I'm still on the Earth. I'm not in space.
Yes, because it's not real. You can't go to space. The gas that you would pass at high pressure
I see it every night when the sun goes down. I see it, and even when I'm looking up, I can see space. Like I see it with my own eyes.
No, you see the sky. Right? It's not a vacuum, though.
Oh God!
You want to know something else,
bro? What?
You want to know something else?
What?
The idea that the world is a ball with vacuum around it.
Yeah.
Has come from measuring the star's elevation angle off a flat Earth. That's how you create the ball in that religion called heliocentrism that you are very much a believer in. Earth's measured flat for your ball belief and sky vacuum belief.
Right. Everyone. Right. Before we went to space, before NASA went to space,
there's no space. We haven't been anywhere. There's no area to go to.
Well, anyway, right. Before apparently space was made up, people knew the Earth was round. Even the Romans knew it was round. Everyone
How's it measured?
Yeah, because it was measured.
Who measured it?
I don't know exactly who measured it, but I can measure it myself if I wanted to.
How'd you measure it?
Right, so this is how you measure it. So you get a ditch about, I don't know, maybe like 1 foot down, right? And you can see, so basically 1 foot down and you'll see a shadow going down at this particular point, right? Maybe at this degree of angle, maybe you see a shadow coming down like that.
That's called an elevation angle. You need a flat Earth for it.
How?
It's an angle. It's 2 straight lines. Not one curved line on a globe, but a flat Earth for an angle. That's what I just told you. Elevation angles measure Earth to create the globe, and you're now telling me about an elevation angle. That's a flat Earth measurement.
It's not, right.
Okay.
So, right. You don't know perspective. So let me grab this. we've got this ball.
Ethan,
This isn't big enough, but it would be better
design.
if it was big enough. If I zoomed right in, right, with my camera, right down as the furthest I can, right, it will look flat. It will look flat. If I go like this, right, I don't know if it's not big enough, but
So you're saying
if you
Earth's
go,
a ball because we measure it flat, correct?
what?
So you're saying Earth's a ball because we measure it flat, correct?
We don't measure it flat.
So why are you
When you
telling me how
measure-
flat it is when you zoom into it?
Because I'm trying to explain to you why it looks flat and why you think that
It
having
doesn't
flat
look
angle.
Whoa.
If I have
Doesn't
a
look
ball
flat.
like
We
this, right, like
measure it flat.
right,
We
wait,
measure it flat.
No,
It
let me
doesn't look flat.
let me finish. Let me finish. Right. If I try and measure this, right, with two straight angles on this ball, it just don't make sense. You can't really do it, can you?
That's right.
No.
You can't get an elevation
yeah.
from a globe. That's right.
Right. I can't. No. Listen to what I'm saying. I can't measure this like a ball like that, can I? I can't measure it with straight lines. I can't.
No, we measure Earth flat. That's right.
But anyway, yeah. You measure it with straight angles. I can't with this because it's too round. Right. That's your exact. If it's round, you can't. Right.
Let me just check I understand what you're saying. You're saying if Earth's a ball, we can't get angles from it, but we do measure angles off a flat Earth. Gotcha.
No. Listen. No. What I'm trying to say is what your argument is, right? Because this is round, I can't do flat measurements from it.
That's right. You can't get an elevation angle from a curved baseline.
Okay.
That's right.
So, it's hard to explain if you don't know it, but if I zoom in, I'll zoom in with my camera on my phone because I can't zoom in anymore. I'll try.
Never get a flat surface on that ball.
Yeah, well.
The curve. You'll never get a flat curve. It's never going to be straight. It's curved.
It's gonna right, but I'm gonna
just have interest. Why are you justifying how flat this ball will be? Is it so we can get angles off a flat plane from it?
Wait, then let me just do it, and then we'll continue about that.
You'll never get an angle off this curve, no matter how much you zoom in. It's still curved. The only reason you're doing this is so you can justify measuring Earth flat. By the way,
right, wait there. See your face? Look how flat that is. Right, that is what Earth looks like from when you're on it. It looks flat, doesn't it?
So okay, so you're saying because it looks flat, but we're not looking at it. We're measuring it with angles, aren't we?
Yeah. So
we're measuring Earth flat.
Right. We're measuring it with flat angles, yeah. Right. But the thing is, you measure these because when you're this small, you can't. Even if you measure with flat angles, which is the best way to do it, you can because it's flat enough. Because you're so small on the Earth, it's flat enough. You can. Because you're so zoomed in, but it's still a.
So just to summarize, I just need to get it in my head.
Let me finish it. Let me finish.
I heard you. You said we measure it flat.
I haven't finished. I haven't finished my point. Let me finish first. All right. So, even though it's flat for there, I have to measure it flat because it's tiny. Because I'm so small, it looks flat to me, right? And even though that it looks flat, I measure it flat. It doesn't change the fact that it's a circle. And when I measure it, and I measure the shadows, right, from one point. So if I measure the shadow that is pointing, so if the shadow is about like this angle, right?
Off a flat Earth.
No, wait, let me finish. On this hypothetical, if the Earth was round, right?
No, it wouldn't be an angle anymore.
But no, right. Let's go back.
If one of the lines is curved, it's not an angle. Angles are two straight lines.
We got a straight line. So we're a little tiny person on you, and the Earth looks like this. It looks straight.
I just need to summarize so I can follow along. So you're saying we're zoomed right in and we're measuring Earth flat because we're really close up and we're measuring angles off a flat plane. So we are measuring Earth flat, but that's only because you believe it's a really big ball. That's why we're measuring it flat, correct?
No, right. We're measuring it flat because it's the easiest way to measure stuff.
So we're measuring Earth flat.
Yeah, we're measuring Earth.
Yeah, so we measure
planes,
Earth flat.
Yeah. So
welcome to flat Earth.
So we measure. Let me finish my part. I haven't finished yet.
Yeah, you think you're on a big ball. Yeah, I got it. You think you're on a big ball. I just summarize your point again. We measure Earth flat.
No, if I measured the shadow from you on that flat plane, and the shadow was coming in from this ditch,
then we've measured Earth flat.
There,
yeah, then we've measured Earth flat.
Yeah, no, let me finish my point. Okay?
Okay, so
And then
far we've got when we measure Earth flat with flat angles off a
I
flat
haven't
plane. Gotcha.
finished my
Carry
point.
on.
Can I finish what I was saying?
Yeah, carry on.
Be quiet. Let me finish. All right. So it's a ditch, and the shadow's coming by here, right? And that's from there, right? Then if I go over here, and it still looks flat, to me, I haven't changed. To me, right, I don't think I've curved. It looks completely flat. It did look completely flat on that photo, didn't it? Completely flat, right? You can't tell that it's circled because you won't be able to tell that it's curved from being on the planet, right? But with the shadow, because the sun is out, because the sun is casted on a circular ball, you can't tell that it's circle. But with this, if you do measure the shadow from one point and it's by here, and then measure it from the other point, which is over here, the shadow would be curved. It would be further on up because the light would be coming from one angle. Let me do my torch and I'll show you this now. Will be coming. Oh, you can't really see it on the camera. It doesn't really work. Works better in real life. I can't really. Yeah, this is reflective. But anyway, I was trying to show you. But anyway, because the light is coming in, and once if we go away from the light's going to be further on up because we're curved.
What's the name of the angle measurement? Do you know what the type of angle's called?
I don't know.
It's called an elevation angle.
Yeah.
It's an angle with respect to a flat Earth.
How?
You just told me and you justified why it would need to be zoomed right in to be flat to measure the angle. You explained it to me and made it clear about 5 times. Yes, we measure Earth flat. But then you went on to ramble on about your belief about that's only because we zoomed into a really big ball.
But the thing is,
and then you insisted that I let you finish, and now you're interrupting me, summarising your justification for what you told me. You explained how you would measure Earth flat with angles for the shadows. They're called elevation angles and require Earth is flat for your baseline.
It doesn't require us to be flat.
Okay, how'd you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
Right. I just showed you that even a circular plane can be flat if you zoomed right in. So it doesn't require it to be flat.
Globes
to do
are
an elevation
never
angle.
flat. That's the inherent principle of what a globe is. No flat surfaces ever. That's what balls are. Never flat. You're saying if I zoom really close, it's flat.
That's what they're not.
No,
Balls
we just measure Earth flat, and you're justifying your ball belief after measuring Earth flat.
Right. A ball does not mean no flat because I literally just showed you the ball can be flat depending on where you are. It is perspective.
You didn't listen to what I just said. One of the inherent properties of a sphere is it has absolutely no flat surfaces ever.
It is true on a mathematical, like if you measured it, yeah, kinda, right? But it's not visibly noticeable. You can't see with your own eyes the flatness.
So we'd notice it was curving if we measured it, and when we do measure, we measure Earth flat, don't we?
But we measure it with those flat angles. But even though that's what I'm trying to say to you, right? We measure it like that.
Yeah.
With altitude,
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, when I told you earlier that we measure Earth flat and you started disagreeing with me and then justifying how flat we measure it, but you believe you're on a ball, therefore we can measure it flat. We still measure Earth flat then, don't we?
It's not actually flat.
No, that's just your belief. That's your belief, like gravity. You keep telling me. Okay, do you want to just stop? I heard you.
It looked, when I zoomed in,
I heard
flat,
you.
wasn't it?
Do you want to stop talking for a second?
No. Right?
Yeah, you need to tell me about your zealot beliefs, don't you, sir? Keep chanting about your belief and never shutting up.
It's not a belief.
Yeah, it's your religion. That's why you've become a chanting zealot that can't shut up.
You're
want to shut up?
Bro.
You're going to shut up?
You're so dumb. How old are you?
44. You're a religious zealot, son. You've got a religious belief.
But I just showed
you can't shut up.
A circle.
You still can't shut up, can you, chanting zealot?
A circle can look flat, and I just showed you that, and you just said it can't, and it can. Bro, it can.
Define a sphere.
And it does.
If you
though
could
it
shut
looks
up long
flat
enough,
to
you
your
could have a
daily
conversation, but you can't. You just need to chant at
if
me
you
about
do
your
the
religious belief.
mathematical
Eventually, you'll get sick of
and
me pointing
measure
out
it,
that you can't shut up,
you'll be
and
able
you'll
to
spin
tell
on
me
like a
circle.
coward. You can't listen. Are you going to shut up and listen to me, or are you going to keep chanting through me about your
Why do you
zealot
have to
belief in a
disrespect me? You
ball?
don't have to
No,
go-
you
you
can't
don't
shut
have to
up.
be
Just a
mean.
chanting zealot that can't shut up. Yeah, so to
Stop being
conclude,
mean. Stop being mean. I just showed
you
you.
won't shut up. You're still talking.
A globe can.
So you can't
look
shut
flat.
up. Your zealot belief has taken over and you
It's
can't
not a
shut your
belief.
mouth.
It's true. Nobody told me.
It's true.
This.
My belief in a ball's true. I'll keep
It's-
talking indefinitely about my belief and then it won't hurt so much. You going to shut up or not?
Started challenging me saying that
You're never
Earth
shutting
is
up.
fake. Okay.
So we measure Earth flat with angles, the ones that you talked about. After the measurements of Earth flat that you talked about, is you talking again? Zealot chanting religious fundy zealot.
Once we've measured it,
Zealot with a globe belief. Can you shut your mouth while I tell you what's what?
It's a globe.
Zealot.
Even though it looks flat.
Zealotry.
It's not flat.
This is you being a triggered religious zealot. You can't shut your mouth because of your religion. You can't cope with it. You need to keep talking and telling me about how it's a globe, don't you, zealot?
Bro, I'm literally just telling you what I've.
I heard you. Now I need you to shut up and listen to me.
Yeah, and I have listened.
You're not shutting up. Every time I start talking, you start yammering through me like a zealot, triggered, globe-believing fundy.
Okay.
So you're going to listen this time, or you're going to chant through me for the 5th time?
Don't
what? You need to tell me what to do. Shut your mouth. You're a zealot, globe-believing fundy religitard. You've got a belief it's based on measurements. Your belief is that if we zoom out from the globe that we measured flat, it's a globe. You can't get measurements. There you go again, zealot chanting fundy zealot. What's your problem? Why are you so triggered with the facts that we measure Earth flat that you need to chant through me?
I'm not shouting, you are.
You're chanting. Chanting like a zealot, like a globe-believing zealot that can't keep his mouth shut when he finds out how you describe how we measure Earth flat with angles. That's how we measure it.
Yeah, but we measure it, and once the measures are done with flat angles,
then you can believe in a globe.
Once we zoom out, even though it looks flat,
we don't zoom out. You're not zooming out, mate. You're not zooming out when you measure angles off the surface. I've heard this about 16 times, and you won't listen to a response. Okay, chanting zealot, it's true through the top of me responding. I've tried 6 times to respond to this. We do not zoom out. You don't fly off in a rocket when you're measuring angles off the surface. When you dig a hole to measure a shadow, you're not zooming off in a bleeding rocket to zoom out. You're just measuring the surface. Flat.
Yeah, and when you measure the surface,
flat,
it shows that it's circle because the measurements differ depending on where you are on the Earth because of the angle of the Earth. Because
no, they're all flat.
It's a sphere.
No, all elevation angles require Earth be flat for them to be elevation angles. They're 2 straight lines.
If that was the case, we wouldn't have elevation angles, and it would be a thing.
Yeah, we wouldn't have elevation angles if Earth was a globe. We do have elevation angle measurements, therefore Earth's not a globe because you wouldn't get those measurements because you need a flat surface to get them, like you explained to me. You justified... Is he going to interrupt? Of course he is. You justified why those flat Earth measurements are okay on a globe because you've zoomed out. No, you've measured Earth flat. That's how Earth's measured. You can create a ball with those measurements. It doesn't involve zooming out. You don't know how that's done. I do. I know how you create a ball with those flat Earth elevation angles. It's not by zooming out.
Right. Basically, those angles you do need a flat surface. So I agree with you on that one. But I just showed you can make a globe can be flat if you zoom in because we're so small. The Earth is huge.
Define what a sphere is.
So what is
there are no flats. You keep talking through me. You've made a statement. I'm responding to you.
Is that not flat?
You're not shutting up.
Is that not flat?
I'm trying to respond to you and you can't shut your mouth. You keep asking the same question.
Is that
a
not
sphere?
Flat?
Oh, you can't shut up again. Zealot chanting fundy again. Chanting fundy. Do you want to listen to my response to your statement you just made? No, mate. An inherent property of a sphere is it has no flat surfaces. Ever.
Oh my God, it does. Oh my God.
Sorry, do you want to define what a sphere is? It has no flat surfaces.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Oh, is this an ad hom?
Does it not have flat surfaces?
No, a sphere has no flat surfaces
So it
ever.
doesn't have flat surfaces
No.
at all, like at all.
You want to define what a sphere is? Or are we just going to keep doing this all day?
Right, I don't need to define what a sphere is if I can just show you that
Just
it
tell
can
me
be
that
flat.
it's okay that it's flat when it's
But
one of the defining
I can
properties of
show
what a
you
sphere
in
is.
real life. I can show you real stuff instead of just like definitions. Real stuff, like stuff in the. You can't say this is fake because it's you. I literally just showed you it. I'll look. I'll do it again.
Is that how you take an elevation angle? You hover above a globe with
No.
a camera phone. That's not how you make an elevation angle measurement. You're just being silly.
Wait, with it. That's
not
yeah,
how you
it's not
make an
how you-
elevation angle measurement, though, is it? Nobody's hovering above a globe Earth that you imagine you are on when you measure it flat with a camera phone. Nobody's doing this.
No, but it emulates.
No, it's just
basically the same
nonsense.
fact.
But you keep doing it over and over again like it's going to win the argument. When you tell me
'Cause
it's measured flat,
I just showed you. Look,
that's
the
a
horizon.
crappy picture of nothing.
Oh, I can't really see it because of my.
It's a crap picture of nothing. It's not going to give you an elevation angle.
Right there. I'll do it. I'll try and do it a better angle now because I added on a light background.
Is this how we get an elevation angle?
No, because
so it's meaningless dross from a zealot then. So it's just meaningless dross with you now yammering through me, pointing out how pointless this is. It's a crap example that means nothing. Meanwhile, while you wait to talk immediately through me, we do measure Earth with these angles. They are off a flat Earth. You zooming into some ball you're holding with a camera phone doesn't change how Earth is measured with elevation angles. Those angles will be used to create the ball you are reifying. That's how the globe's created, with those flat Earth angles.
So that ball looks flat.
Same exact argument.
Because the thing is, bro, that you can't, like, that is just how the world is. That's the Earth. It is a globe.
No, that's a chanting zealot chanting me to believe him in. You
can measure the Earth for flat surfaces because we're on the Earth. Because Earth is so big, we can. Because it can be flat if we're on the top. If we're on it and we're zoomed in, like I just showed you, when you zoom in on a globe, it is flat. But it's not. But you can see, even though it looks flat from your perspective, from where you are, it's not.
Right? So why would we measure it that way if it's not?
Would it measure in what way?
Why would we measure it flat with elevation angles if it's not?
Because that's what it looks like to our perspective. It looks flat, don't it?
I see. So we measure Earth flat and it looks flat, but that's because it's a ball. No, that makes no sense. We just measure Earth flat.
When we measure it with flat angles and we do those proven facts, like I said, with those shadows, it shows that from the shadow from the sun, right? It shows that the Earth is angled because it will be different depending on where I am. Because the angle of that light will be different depending on where I am on the surface. Right?
No, there are no surfaces, angles on a ball. You can't get angles from a ball.
Earth, they would all the shadows would be the same. They would not be different on elevations because they won't, because they'll be flat. The Earth will be flat. But they don't. They change depending on where you are.
Well, the angles change.
The angles of the sun.
Oh, you won't get an angle off that ball.
I just showed you can.
No, you can't.
Do you want me to show you the photo of a straight angle that I showed you?
Is that how we measure elevation angles, is it?
But that is an angle, though.
No, it's just some crappy picture that you've shown me with your camera phone and a shiny ball. As I try and point out how it's not, you keep talking. It's not. That's not how we measure elevation angles.
How do we measure them?
With sextants.
With what?
A sextant.
What's a sextant?
A tool for measuring angles with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. For example, to measure your latitude. Do you know what latitude is?
Like up and down, or left and right?
No, you don't have that on a ball either.
But
you don't have up and down on a ball. In and out only. You don't have up and down. It's not something you can use if you believe you're on a ball. You don't have up and down.
Well, yeah.
No, you have in and out.
How?
Because up is reference to a horizontal plane. You don't have a horizontal plane on a ball.
But that still means
you don't have a horizontal plane on a ball ever. You keep telling me that you do. You don't. You don't understand a ball and what it's defined as. And then you told me definitions don't matter.
Is
That's
that a
not a
horizontal
definition, is it?
plane?
It's a crap picture. Keep appealing to your crappy arguments.
But that's a horizontal plane. It's a flat plane in it, and I just showed that flat plane off this ball, so you can. You can do that.
No, one of the
You
defining
can. I just
principles
showed you
of a
can.
ball is
I
it
just
has
showed you
no
can.
flat surfaces.
So what's this?
It's a picture on a phone that's flat with a
Of a
camera that
flat
you've taken
surface
that
off
isn't how
the
you measure
ball.
elevation
It's a
angles.
flat
You
surface
just
off
keep
the
going
ball, so
around
you
in the same
can.
circles and
So you
talking through
can
me when I
have a flat
respond to you.
surface on
So
a
I'm
ball.
responding to
That
you,
is
and you
completely just as
believe that just by
modestly implied, I
continuing to
believe.
talk as I respond to you, that my rebuttal that I've given you now, I've counted them
Wait, but,
8
wait,
times. You're still talking while I'm responding to you, because in your mind, your deluded mind, by continuing to talk while I talk, my overcome won't be heard. So you don't have to hear it. Me telling you for the 8th time that there are no flat surfaces on globes is going to be ignored by a phone call, it seems. While you're looking that up, I'll just read out a quick definition to you. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Sustainable by design.
Even though we have a major disagreement about reality, and I do respect what you're doing.
You've been lovely. You've been a really nice. You've been a pleasure to chat to, Finn. Take it easy. Sort your
You
personal
too, bro.
issue
Have
out.
a
Take
good
it easy,
life.
mate.
Bye.
See you later.